Hey guys, and welcome to the BP Gaming Network. So this is our video number 9, our ongoing franchise series for Oakland A's. So it is May 1st, and it's basically the beginning of a new month, and also the end of week number 5 in April. So we're just going to do a weekly recap and show you guys what happened to the team during week number 5, and then we'll set you up and let you guys know what the next video is going to be all about. So we'll get going. So the month of April is over, and this is what it looked like for Oakland. So our record at the end of April is disappointing. It's 12-16. So we're playing below 500 ball, which is disappointing. We had a couple weeks there that were not really good for the team, but we also had some storylines, some bright spots throughout the month. So we'll kind of recap the week, starting with Monday the 23rd. We played this game against the Rangers, and we lost just by a single run. It was 11-10 Texas. Pitching for Oakland was Kendall Graveman, who went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned. He threw 89 pitches, and his ERA is now 5.76. So not a good start for Kendall Graveman so far into this new season. He's still not pitching to the expectation that we have, and we might have to discuss a little bit more about Kendall Graveman and what we think we might have to do with him. For the bullpen, it's kind of been on and off. Santiago Casilla has been struggling so far for coming off the bullpen. In this game, he just went basically just a 1/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs, which is really bad. You can see his ERA ballooned to 11.88. The rest of the bullpen was so-so. Liam Hendricks couldn't even get anybody out, and he surrendered 2 runs as well. So that was pretty much the way it went for pitching. Offensively, Jonathan Lucroy and Chris Davis contributed offensively, as well as home runs from Dustin Fowler and Bruce Maxwell. So those were the guys who contributed offensively for Oakland in this game. For Texas, they had Matt Moore, who went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and just 2 earned runs. His ERA is 3.82, so a good outing for Matt. Their relievers kind of struggled. Alvarez seemed to come in and struggle there, but it was a really tight battle. That's all I can say at the end of the day. And there was a lot of runs scored, which shows how poor the pitching staff on both teams was. So that was game 1 of week 5. Game 2 on Tuesday, again against the Rangers. We won this game 7-3, and we sent out Andrew Triggs to pitch, and he did really well. He went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 7 runs and just 1 earned run, which is excellent. We would definitely like to see him get up to maybe 6 innings, but 5 2/3 is still not that bad. That allowed the bullpen to come in and hold down the game without giving up too many runs, although Emilio Pagan gave up 1 run and Liam Hendricks also gave up a run, but we were still able to win this game. Blake Trinan came in and pitched in 2/3 innings and didn't give up any runs, but unfortunately he got injured while playing this game, and he was put on the DL. So he had a rotator cuff inflammation, and he's out for about 2 to 3 months, which is very disappointing because Blake has been an excellent closer for a bullpen. So he's currently on the 60-day DL, And as a result, we had to make some roster moves, and I'll walk you guys through that in a bit. For Texas, they had Bartolo Colon, who struggled mightily. He pitched in 4 innings, gave up 10 hits and 7 runs, seven of them earned, to end up with an ERA of 5.02. So not a good day for Bartolo. Offensively, for Oakland, Sheldon News had a double for Oakland, and so did Jet Lowry, which was great. I'm really excited with Sheldon News. He's really played well so far. He's really contributing, considering we just called him up recently. So Dustin Fowler had a home run, and so did Chris Davis. He had his 7th home run. Dustin Fowler had his 4th home run, which came in the first inning off of Bartolo Colon with nobody on, nobody out. So that was the offense for Oakland. We won that game, and that was excellent. Game number 3 of the 3-game series with Texas was on Wednesday. We won that game 8-4, which was perfect. And Sheldon News again came through for Oakland with a home run, and so did Matt Olson. And Chad Pinder and Matt Joyce also contributed with doubles. So it was a good day for Oakland, even pitching-wise. We had Sean Manai, who went in 6 innings and gave up 4 hits and just 3 runs, and 2 of them were earned. And his ERA is 3.97. So not a bad outing for Manai. The bullpen came in. Ryan Bukta gave up a run, which kind of was disappointing, but we still won the game. And then the news was we hired Lou Trevino, who made his debut for the first time in MLB. We called him up after Blake Trinan went down with an injury. So we brought up Lou Trevino into the active roster. He made his debut on this game against the Texas Rangers on April the 25th. So it was a great day for Lou. He pitched in 2 innings, gave up 2 hits and no runs. So a very good outing for Trevino in his first game ever as a pro, playing in the MLB. So we were very excited about that, and he pitched 36. He threw 36 pitches, as you can see. So it was a great day for him. For Texas, they had Cole Hamels, who came in and pitched in 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 of them earned. He's pitched well so far into the season. His ERA is 2.91. Had to point out that Tim Lincecum is actually still in this game, pitching for Texas so far into April. So those who know Tim and his struggles trying to get back into MLB, I thought I'll point this out. He pitched in this game. He basically struggled. He went 1/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits and 1 earned run. He struggled so far into the season. His ERA at that point was 9.45. So just wanted to highlight that. Yeah, that was pretty much that. And we had some offense from Chad Pinder, Matt Olson, Matt Joyce, who contributed with doubles into this game, and then Matt Olson and Sheldon News had contributed with home runs. So that was a good showing for Oakland, and that's how we close out that series. So it was great to see Oakland win this series with Texas, 2-3. Sorry, 2-1. So Texas only won 1 game. We won 2. So that was that. And then we had a break on the 26th. And then we started a new series against the Houston Astros, last year champs. And we won game 1 on the 27th of April. We had Chris Bassett, who was pitching for Oakland. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits and no earned runs. Ryan Bukta came in and relieved Bassett, pitched in 1 inning, didn't give up a run. Yasmiro Petit also came in and held it down, didn't give up a run, and Liam Hendricks had the save for this game, pitching in 1 inning without any run. So our pitching staff did really well in this game. Chris Bassett was the player of the game, and it was amazingly against one of their best pitchers, Dallas Keuchel, who also pitched well, but not as good as we would have expected, given the matchup. So we won this matchup. Dallas Keuchel went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 runs, and 2 of them earned. His ERA is 3.41. So if you notice, Chris Bassett has been playing really well. He got the win here, so his record now is 2-for-1. I'm really amazed. Like I said, Chris Bassett is a pitcher who had a lot of potential, but injuries have always kept him away from the game. And to see him have such a good start so far, 5 games into the new season, his ERA is 3.16. I'm very excited about that. So there was not too much offense in this game. As you could see, Stephen Piscotty and Mark Canha and Jake Smolinski had doubles, and that was pretty much most of the offense. So Smolinski, Chris Davis, and Sheldon News had the 3 RBIs in this game, and it was a very close game, 3-0. Not a lot of offense there, but it was a good win for us. And then we lost the next 2 games. So on the 28th, we played our second game of the 3-game series, and we lost 7-3 Houston. We had Trevor Cahill, who disappointed heavily. He was the starting pitcher for Oakland. He went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 10 hits and 5 earned runs. His ERA is now 6.89. I was really hoping for a better showing from Trevor Cahill, and it wasn't so. The bullpen also was on and off, but the new kid, Lou Trevino, pitched well in just 1/3 inning. Didn't give up a run, didn't give up any hits. So that's good to see. Excited about him. I'm really happy to see him playing well. We'll continue to see how he performs, and hopefully he has a bright future playing for Oakland. Player of the game was Jose Altuve, of course. He contributed 4 hits and 2 RBIs in this game, and that was how that went. Pitching wise, they sent Lance McCullers, and he pitched in 4 innings, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, 3 of them earned. His ERA is 3.90. So that was game 2 of the 3-game series, and then the last game on the 29th of April, we lost again, 4-2 Houston. Pitching wise for Oakland, we had Kendall Graveman, who's sort of starting to slide downwards. He's not playing well, seems to be struggling. He pitched in 5 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. His ERA was 5.97. So a bit of a concern there. If you notice, he had pitched in one of the games at the beginning of the week, and he also struggled in that game. He pitched in this game, and he's also still struggling. So may have to start thinking about making some moves here to stave off this, the bleeding that's going on with our starting pitchers. The bullpen was okay. They all came in and didn't give up any more runs. For Houston, they had Garrett Cole, and he went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits and 1 run. So he had a very good game. His win-loss record now is 3-3. Kendall Graveman win-loss record is 2-2 now. So not much to talk about offensively. We had a home run from Dustin Fowler in the first inning off of Garrett Cole with nobody on, nobody out. And that was pretty much it. And Garrett Cole was the player of the game. So that was how that week went. We won 3 games and lost 4 games. We won 3 games and lost 3. So it was sort of an even week, but we were expecting a better performance considering the previous week we really struggled, just won 1 game against our opponents. So let's take a look at the records now and see where we stand. So at the end of April, in the American League West Division, Texas is the leader of our division with a record of 18-11, which is excellent. Houston have caught up to Texas, so they also have a record of 18-11. So the number one spot in the division is tied between Texas and Houston. The Angels have a record of 17-12, which is really good. And then in that, I guess you could say the third spot, technically, is Oakland. We moved up a spot. We were at the bottom of our division at the beginning of this week, and now we are in that fourth spot, but technically you could say a third because we have a tie at first. Our record is 12-16, not good at all. That is our winning percentage is 429. We need to be at 500 just to feel good and just to know that that we're being competitive. So we're 5.5 games behind the leader, and Seattle dropped down to the bottom of the division with a record of 11-17. So if we take a look at the batting leaders, we've got Chris Davis with a batting average of 301, which is excellent. He has had a very good month of April. The rest of the team, not so much. You can see the next guy who qualified to the leaderboard is Stephen Piscotty with a batting average of 233. So, and followed by Jet Lowry. It wasn't a very good month of April for Oakland, but we'll still just kind of highlight some of the players who performed well and some who disappointed. Home runs, Chris Davis, as expected, is leading in that division, in that category, with 7 home runs. Dustin Fowler, surprisingly, he's got 5 home runs so far after the month of April. And Stephen Piscotty's got 4. Where else can we highlight for the offense? That's about it. You can see the best player of our team right now is Chris Davis. If you look at the WAR, he's got 1.1, and followed by Dustin Fowler and then Matt Joyce. Pitching wise, I have to honestly say I'm a bit surprised by the guys who are actually leading in our pitching categories. Chris Bassett has the best ERA in our team with a 3.16. Again, I say this remember, the leaders that show up on the leaderboard are the ones who have met the minimum qualification threshold, which means you have to have pitched in so many innings in order to qualify. So there might be some guys in the bullpen with a better ERA. For example, if you look at Chris Hatcher here, he has a 1.45 ERA, but he doesn't show up in the leaderboard because he doesn't have enough innings pitched to really qualify. So always keep that in mind. Andrew Triggs is the next best pitcher in our team currently, which is another surprise. And then Sean Manai, whom I thought would be our best pitcher so far, is in that third position. So, which is not bad. He's actually managed to pitch well. He had a couple games there that were really bad, and then he managed to have a few more games where he pitched really well to save his ERA. So you can see it's just below that 4.0 mark. For wins, Andrew Triggs has 3 wins. Chris Bassett has 2. Strikeouts, Kendall Graveman has the most strikeouts out of all of our pitching staff. And Kendall Graveman has also pitched in the most innings. And if you look at the WAR, Sean Manai has got the highest WAR at 0.7, followed by Andrew Triggs and then Trevor Cahill. So if you're not familiar with what some of these stats mean or how they're calculated, you could probably Google them up. Fangraphs, they really give you a lot of detailed breakdown for each one of these different stats, including a lot of sabermetric type of stats. So that's where we're at, and let's take a look here and see what other major transactions the team had the last week. So let's go into reports, major transactions. So as I mentioned, during that week, we had to put Blake Trinan on the 60-day disabled list, and we purchased the contract of Lou Trevino. What that means is that we put him on the 40-man roster and called him up to the active roster for the first time ever. So it was a great accomplishment. You could see why I had to call him up. Obviously, we had an injury when Blake Trinan went out, and Lou Trevino had the ratings that I was looking for a replacement. And I think his first two games, they support that. They show that we made a good call here. He's got pretty good stuff. His current stuff is at just above average. I would probably just say above average, not just above average. He's got good movement, which is also above average. His control is not the greatest, which is below average. And his fastball, a very lively fastball, which can velocity can get up to 96 to 98 miles per hour. So he's got a plus above average fastball, plus above average cutter, and just a slightly above average curveball. So decent stuff. I know he has just those 3 pitches. It's nice to have a starter who has at least 4 pitches, in my opinion. I tend to like that. Gives them variety, especially as you start to run into the season, further into the season. Then it gets difficult to get guys out. But for relievers, you can live with relievers who have just 3 pitches. In fact, most relievers just have 3 good pitches compared to starters. Your starters, you do want them to have at least another pitch, just so they can mix things up to try and keep guys off balance. So he's had pretty good history in the minor leagues. Let's take a look at his history. He was drafted by Oakland in 2013, 11th round, out of Slippery Rock University in Pennsylvania. He joined the A's, playing in the lower A, Vermont Lake Monsters, and he had a pretty good season. And then he was promoted to the single A team, which is the Beloit Snappers. And he kind of struggled that season, but then he was elevated and promoted to the Advanced A, and he actually performed really well, which is our Stockton Ports team. He had a pretty good season in 2015 and 2016 in Stockton. And then before the end of 2016, he was promoted again to AA, which is a good sign. And he pitched really well there. Didn't have a lot of innings, just pitched in 18 and 1/3 innings, but his ERA was 2.45. And then the next season, he started in Midland AA, and he pitched in 33 and 1/3 innings, had a very good ERA. And then later that year in 2017, he was promoted to AAA Nashville. Pitched in 35 innings and had decent outing with a 3.60 ERA. And then he started 2018, this season, in AAA Nashville. He pitched in 7 and 1/3 innings. Didn't give up any runs, or at least didn't give up any earned runs, I should say, which was excellent. So when Blake Trinan went out with an injury, I basically looked at Lou Trevino and thought, this is the kind of kid we want to bring up into the majors. So that was one of the big transactions we did so far. Let's take a look to see who we still have on the disabled list. So we still have Boog Powell, who is still got another 5 weeks left on the DL. And now we've got Blake Trinan, who's got another 2 to 3 months left on the DL. As I mentioned at the beginning of the series, Jarrell Cotton is out for the rest of the year. So we're not going to see him until next year, hopefully. So that's where we're at as far as our injuries. Let's take a look to see what else, what other updates I can give you guys. Really, that's about it. So why don't we quickly take a look at the MLB standings so far, just to show you guys how things look overall for the rest of the league. So currently in the American League, Minnesota Twins are the leaders with a record of 17-10, followed by the Texas Rangers with a record of 18-11. Actually, we've got 4 teams that are tied with the same record. The Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Houston Astros. And you can see Oakland is sort of right there in that 11th spot, I believe. That's what that is. And Kansas City Royals are at the bottom of the division. Of the league, in the American League. So we still have a long way to go. It's only been 1 month, and we're hopeful and expecting to see a better performance from the team in May. We're obviously going to have to make some moves, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in our next video. So National League, we've got the Los Angeles Dodgers as the #1 team so far with a 20-7 record. That's amazing. That's outstanding. Look at the Phillies. Phillies got a record of 18-10 in that second spot in the National League, followed by the Cardinals with a record that's tied with between them and the Chicago Cubs. And then at the bottom end, you've got the Cincinnati Reds struggling heavily so far 1 month into the new season. So that's how things look so far. There's not been a lot of commotion, not a lot of things we can really highlight or talk about. So that is pretty much it. There is maybe if I was to point out, we had a kid in our minor league system, Mercedes, from our Stockton Ports Advanced A. He collects a cycle. So if you don't know what that is, he basically hit for a cycle. To hit for a cycle, it means during the same game, you manage to get a single at first base, a double at second base, and a triple at third base. And then that's hitting for a cycle, which is a very rare thing to do in baseball, but it happens from time to time. And this kid, he's not having a very good season. Actually, he is having a very good season. That's what I meant to say. Doesn't have a lot of potential in him, but he had a pretty good game that I had to highlight that and show you guys that. So again, things like this happen from time to time. When you see stuff like that happening, you want to keep an eye out on players like that. There could be something special in him. We don't know. It could be a fluke. We don't know. But all in all, because you don't know, you still just keep an eye on guys like that. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, we're having problems with our starting pitchers, and we're gonna have to try and strategize and figure out what to do. I can tell you guys right off the bat, I'm actually considering making a move and either bringing somebody else from the minor league system from our AAA Nashville to replace Kendall Graveman. Trevor Cahill is struggling, but I'm going to keep him on a little bit longer just because I don't think we have any options left with Cahill. Well, actually, he has 2 options left. Okay. He has 2 options left. And so he is another candidate that I can consider to demote, but I'll probably allow him to play out another game or 2. But for Kendall Graveman, at this point, I'm of the feeling that we might have to demote him, let him go back to AAA and work out on his mechanics and see how he can improve. Maybe we can see him back here. As far as who I'm gonna call up, I can't tell you that right now. I don't think I have figured that out yet. But I can tell you the candidates. for potential call-ups. I have 3 guys that I could potentially call up. One of them is Daniel Mengden, Brett Anderson, and Paul Blackburn. So it could be one of those guys. Now, I know Paul Blackburn is potentially got an injury. We don't know what that injury is. We're still waiting for the diagnosis to come through. Brett Anderson had a minor injury, back spasms, which will probably last for 5 days, but it's just a minimal injury. So if Paul Blackburn has a significant injury, then my choices will be limited to Brett Anderson and Daniel Mengden. And if we do bring somebody up, then we'll have to go back down to our double A and take a look and see who we can bring up to AAA to replace whoever I call up. And I probably think it could either be Raul Alcantara, most likely. If not, Nohe Ruiz is a possibility, or Kyle Fredericks. So they haven't been playing. Kyle Fredericks has been struggling, and so has Nohe Ruiz. But these are guys that have a little bit okay potential, and I would like to see them continue to develop. So maybe a chance at AAA. You never know, or it could just be somebody else. I haven't thought about that. I haven't gone that far. But as far as AAA, I can tell you it's going to be between those 3 guys. So that's the recap. That's the weekly recap. That's where we stand so far. Our next game will be May 1st against the Seattle Mariners. Let's take a look at the schedule and show you guys how May looks like for the team. Let's go here. So we have a 3-game series against the Seattle Mariners, and then we finish the week with a 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. So fun times up ahead. This is a divisional matchup here against the Mariners, so we're really hoping the team does well when it comes to these 3 games. All right, guys, appreciate you guys watching. The next video, we're gonna do a prospects recap, which means we're gonna take a look at our farm system together with our active roster. Like I said, in the next video, we'll probably make some moves with our starting pitching. We got a couple guys who are really struggling, Trevor Cahill and Kendall Graveman. But we'll also take a look at our minor league system and see what other improvements are there. Take a look at guys who have done really well in April and see if we can call up some guys from different levels of our minor league system. This is something you have to consistently do to keep promoting guys or demoting guys who are not doing well. Promote those who are doing well in the hopes that they develop, and that's how you develop your farm system. So those who are interested in how the farm system works and how to evaluate your prospects, how to decide who to promote and who to demote, make sure you join us in our next video. It's going to be exciting, and I call it my farm system report that we're going to do at the end of every month, and that's the plan. So hope to see you guys on our next video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you have questions, please post on the post your comments, and I'll try my best to reply. Thank you so much.